The road to 2027 general election became a bit clearer for the ruling All Progressives Congress within the week, after the party's who's who, led by President Bola Tinubu, converged on Abuja, the nation's capital, to elect a new national chairman. Or so it seems, according to some political analysts who have expressed the view that the choice of the self-effacing Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Yilwatda, was a reflection of how the president has been able to accrue greater powers to himself over APC's superstructure as the race to 2027 becomes hotter. How true are these suppositions, though? Well, joining us now to offer his well-considered thoughts on the matter is Dr. Sam Amadi, who's the director, Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Good morning, Dr. Amadi. Good to have you on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're welcome. Let's talk politics. Let's talk APC and, to an extent, PDP. It's been an interesting week. APC was able to pull off its neck, even though a lot of people were wondering the choice of the venue, right within the seat of power. While APC was able to do that, PDP says there's a postponement. It won't be ready until November of this year. What does this say to you? A new chairman, a new substantive chairman for the APC, we can call him former now. He will be leaving his position as the Humanitarian Affairs Minister, Yilwatda, and now the chair of APC at a time that the opposition parties appear to be struggling. What are your thoughts in terms of what this portends and the direction that it looks like APC might be going now that they have picked somebody from the North Central, returning the Director of Legal, to the Northwest? Does this show that the party is fully in charge and that the president has taken over the superstructure of the APC?
Well, thank you. Again, not much surprise though. Before now, the APC is being molded in the image of the president. Clearly, the president has taken over control. You see that in the fact that even if there are discontent, somewhere, much of that is exiting the APC. So you've seen the CPC faction, or at least some part of it, clearly going to the ADC. It's obvious that President Tinubu, after first term, will be fully in charge of the party. We've seen President Obasanjo did the same thing and recreate that party in his own image. And with the way we are seeing people defecting to the APC, even those who have strong misgiving would not play it up. So because, look, it looks like conventional politicians, establishment politicians who want to win the election, maybe you consider APC the way to go. So you're not going to see much turbulence, in terms of open turbulence, in terms of people voting out and saying no or disagreeing with the president openly. Everything will be masked until primary, when those who lose out in what will be obvious win and lose would then contemplate maybe some storm in the party. So for now, the president is in charge. And then choosing a candidate or a party leader who didn't have that much political gravitas, who himself is a son of another politician in the party, suggests that this is not a case of party leaders making a consensus. This is a case of the president, dictating clearly who he wants for very good reasons. North Central, Christian, moderate, doesn't have a power base. Between now and 2027, he's not going to grow any big feathers. So easily malleable and able to accept the trade-offs that will happen. In the APC would, towards the primary, APC is going to do some hard deals with the rump of PDP that's with them, Wike group, the other people are coming in. So they will basically ask him, to flip tickets to whoever they want. So I think it's the guy for the job, the kind of job wants to be done. What does it say about, Tinubu's political strategy and prospect? Clearly, the president has no problem in his party either getting the ticket or deciding how 27 will go. But the question then is, or how will it affect the opposition party? How will it affect the larger political play? People have observed in the background of this, the new chairman, his leadership of the INEC, and there is two issues. One is the revolving chair. Some people are saying maybe if we are still going to have presidents appoint INEC chairman and INEC leaders, then maybe there should be a 10-year moratorium. Once you're in there, you're not going to be playing partisan politics, because what this tells is two things. One is that the day this is a guy who has been an APC supporter or person before becoming national commissioner, because he moved from there, became a political appointee, ran for governor, now chairman of the leading party. So clearly, it's not just a happenstance. This is a man who has had affiliation, support, and it talks about who do we appoint into this very important regulatory position, and how do we ensure that when they are there, they are insulated enough and they're not doing quid pro quo, so that when they leave, they get into the bigger job. We saw that with a man called the former governor of Abia State, Otendo, who was INEC rec, worked with Oji Carlo, became his preferred, governor's passport. In fact, won from detention. So the question is, are they carrying insiders information? Are they already party men? Is there a bargain to make them governor, make them something, so that they turn in, the votes for the party? So these are the issues that are raised, but clearly, President Tinubu is in charge. In APC, he hasn't got much to worry until primaries, I think. And then let's see how the other opposition party, and the PDP did their own. Of course, look, what PDP did, it wasn't like a postponement of the convention. The Congress is going to come, the convention is going to come, but they are still building carefully, creating compromise around venue, who is involved, what report. PDP leaders, I think wisely, are trying to bring the party back, and to do that, a lot of compromise. You have to skate around some landmines and ensure that you don't solve the big problems they want. You want to build trust, stability, and then you confront the big problems, down the line when people have invested in the institution and the structure and the process. I think they have perhaps got wiser, maybe perhaps not too late, I hope.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sam Amadi, for your thoughts on this. I want us to get into the APC Senate majority conversation. I think this is very important. Just about, say, 2-3 seats before we see that 2/3 majority going straight to APC. Now, what are your thoughts on this, especially as it pertains to the idea of a one-party state? Some would say, oh, this does not in any way allude to the possibility of that happening, especially for constitutional reforms, when it comes down to the certain issues that will have to be decided on, considering now that there is a majority in one party who will be deciding on these issues. How do you think this would affect our legislative processes moving forward?
Well, first, I think we've had instances elsewhere of supermajority. So APC now has, or about to have, a supermajority which gives them safe sail for the electoral mandate. If they got, look, every politician or every president would like to have a supermajority because it helps you sell your program. The problem is that Nigerian legislature is not program-oriented. There's nothing wrong in the president having a supermajority. It ensures that the policies he ran on as president gets to be enacted as law. But the problem here is that oftentimes what gets thrown into the National Assembly are private interests, policies or regulations that are not in the public interest. And so the question then is, where will be the check and balance? Again, experience also shows that sometimes the opposition becomes the party itself. So is that dynamics possible? We saw in Saraki's Senate that even though he was a party leader, he was actually much more opposed to the president. But unfortunately, we have two leadership of the National Assembly that are, quote unquote, in bed with the president. Now, this is the way it plays. It's possible that down the line, we've also seen evidence that some senators have tried somewhat to stand independent, especially in matters that are substantively not political, but maybe social or economic. Adam Oshomole has been one of those who have, in some cases, spoken eloquently against what looked like the trend. But we've not seen that in matters that have obvious political implication or significance. So one wonders if there's a bill that gives the president more power against another institution, or a bill that favors the APC, or the Electoral Act now that coming up that may make the election more credible. With the Adams Oshomole of the National Assembly stand up and kind of buck the trend and stop the bandwagon of party rollover. That's the danger. Now, regarding the so-called one-party state, my sense is that, look, Nigerian politics is so pecuniary and therefore not manageable in terms of ideology that you would see a one-party state. You're going to see down the line flare-outs when losers will gang up and switch. So the one-party state, it won't happen in Nigeria because they don't even have the coherence to be a one-party. We're going to see implosion because in the nature of this business, it's all about the people who move to APC move because they want secure ticket. The people they're going to displace will move out because they want a secure ticket. In fact, the people who moved in, some will be disappointed and they move back. So one party state for now, yes, in the National Assembly, that's now a supermajority for the APC, but I don't think we are ever going to go to one party state. One party state will require two basic features. One is a brutish dictatorship that frightens and beats everybody in. Nigeria is so weak and incoherent that every dictator in Nigeria will be weak. He can't just do that. And secondly, it will be because of a strong ideological movement, a leader that kind of, beats everybody into a particular ideology and define a development agenda that creates something close to what Uganda President has tried to do with so-called movement. Everybody gets in, we are saving the nation. Nigeria politics is so bereft of every large-scale macro ideology that will not happen. So we're going to see opportunism writ large. People are going to the APC because they think the electoral system is poor, there'll be no free and fair election, the court is like packed and bought over. And the result is that they get in there, they struggle, they lose out. Atiku went to APC, moved to PDP, moved back again. So we're going to see this movement. So I think we are not close to a one party. We are close to a weak institution, captured largely because these guys who are drifting up and down can't have the bearing to stand up and defend public good. And that's more dangerous than a one-party state. A one-party state with people who are committed to development is tolerable. A multi-party with no political gravitas, where there's really no position, where people are just drifters, looking for, sensing where easy play, where will I get ticket, where will I get INEC support, where will I get a cost to get me in. That is even more dangerous than a one-party state. And that's where we are now. Basically, a structure that has no stability, has no bearing, no anchored on no idea, and people are not actually contesting any vision of the Nigerian state. There's no contra visions fighting. Welfarism or pro-market or some kind of nationalizing, decentralization. Basically, the politicians are just, opportunists who are looking for where to bet. And for now, it seems like it's going to be APC, but the consequence of that will be that too much competition in-house for APC ticket that you're going to see splitters go out and we'll get back to what we used to be again. That's my prediction. So yes, supermajority, it helps a focused government to drive the agenda, but it can also deceive an unfocused government to basically sit back and then not respond to the concerns of the people, and that might trigger electoral revolt down the line.